Hi friends, today I will explain how to deploy the code to your Snowflake database or how you can migrate the code from one environment, that is lower environment to higher environment, using schema change. So here code in the sense it can be any Snowflake object like a table, a view, a stage, an integration object, a file format, a stream, a task. It can be any Snowflake object. Okay, so we'll see how we can deploy or how we can migrate these objects into Snowflake database using schema change. So what are the things required to do this workout or to do this working session? Okay, so we need a GitHub account and we need a GitHub desktop application or Git Bash. If you have Visual Studio Code, it will be very easy. And we need a Snowflake trial account for deploying the code into Snowflake database. Okay, so in this session I will explain about creating a GitHub repository and how to operate with that GitHub, like the basic Git commands I will explain, and how we can use Visual Studio Code editor and adding Git secrets. That means if we want to do parameterization in GitHub, how to add those secrets, parameters and their values, and what is schema change file and how to build that file, and how we can deploy or migrate the code into Snowflake Cloud. Okay, I will explain through a working session. I'll explain all these steps. Okay, first let's see how to create a GitHub account, how to create a Git repository, and some basic Git commands. Okay, so go to a browser, open Google page and just type create a GitHub account. It will take you to this page. Click on the first link, join GitHub, and then it will take you to this page. Here enter your email ID and click on continue. Then it will ask you to set up your username and password. As I have my Git account already, I am not showing you in live. Okay, so just enter your email ID, click on continue. It will ask you to set up your user ID and password, and it will ask you to verify using a small puzzle. Okay, just click the correct picture and submit it. Then a verification email will be sent to your registered email ID. So the email ID you are giving here, just get the code from that email ID and enter it here. So your GitHub account will be created. Okay, and this will be the home page of your GitHub account. Once your GitHub account is created, you can log in with the user ID and password you set up while creating. Okay, now we have to create a Git repository to save our code changes or versions of our code. Okay, for that you can see option here, create a new repository. So enter a repository name here. Okay, so it can be anything. Okay, so in a Git demo. Okay, or Git Snowflake. So I am entering my Git repository name like this, Jana Git SF. Okay, and you can, if you want to publish this code publicly, you can create a public repository, or if you want to keep it private, so you can create a private repository. For now I am creating a private repository. Just click on a create new repository. Okay, so here your Git repository is ready. Okay, now you have to know about some basic Git commands to deploy the code, to check in the code, or let me go through all those commands, you will get better understanding. Okay, so these are the basic Git commands you have to know before working with GitHub. Okay, so first thing, if you want to initialize, okay, your GitHub, then you have to enter the command like git space init. So you may get a doubt where I can run these commands. Okay, you can run this in the command prompt. So how to go to command prompt? Just click on the search button and just type cmd. Okay, so this will be the command prompt. So here you can execute all these git commands. Okay, otherwise you can open the git bash. Okay, I'll show you that later. open git bash and you can execute these commands in that git bash. Okay, so the first command is to initialize your git. So this is the command git space init. And if you want to clone your repository, so we just now created this repository, right? And this is virtual, not on your desktop. So this is on the web. Okay, so if you want to get all the code, okay, all the code present in this repository to your desktop, so we use command called git space clone space the link of your repository. So you can get the link from here. Okay, so this is your link, this is the link of your git repository, right? So just place that here and enter. Okay, so git clone and the link to the repository. Suppose first time we have to clone, but next time onwards we don't need to clone all the objects, right? We don't need to copy all the objects again and again. So next time if you want to pull only modified files, okay, so you can use a command like git space pull, because already you have cloned entire repository to your desktop. Next time if you want to pull only modified files after the last check-in, okay, so you can use this git pull command. So same, instead of git clone, so just type git pull and the repository link. And in the real time we don't work with single branch, right? So we have to operate with multiple branches. So if you want to switch from one branch to other branch, so this is the command git checkout dev. So if you want to know you are in which branch, so you can just enter the command git space branch. It will show you in which branch currently you are in. If you want to log in to other branch, so you have to enter this command git space checkout space the branch name. Okay, so once checking out to this branch, now you can add or modify the content by using git desktop, or you can directly modify the content from your desktop, or you can use any IDE. IDE means it can be anything like the code editors, integrated development environment, right? Like Visual Studio Code. You can use any IDEs to do all these changes. Okay, so once you modify the content or create the new files, if you want to know what are all the uncommitted changes, that means what are all the files you have modified, or what are all the files you have created newly, so or what are the files you have deleted. If you want to know all those changes, just the file names, so just enter this command git status. It will show the list of files modified. It can be addition, modification, or deletion. Okay, so and if you want to add those changes, okay, so here it is showing just the changes, but if you want to confirm those changes, okay, so what you have to do, you have to enter a command like git add and the file name. So if you want to check in some file name, so you have to like git add file name. Otherwise, if you want to check in all those changes, so simply put a dot, git add dot, to add the changes after adding or modifying the content. This is the command git add. Then if you want to commit those changes to your okay, so if you want to commit those changes, this is the command. So you may get a doubt, so where we are adding, where we are committing, where we are pushing all these changes, right? So there is something the concept called stage. Okay, you cannot see all those things like the desktop, the stage, the virtual repository, all those things. So if you want to learn GitHub in depth, there are some good YouTube videos available. Okay, just go there and you can learn so how these things works internally. Okay, when you add, what will happen, when you commit, what will happen, when you push, what will happen, all these things you want to know. So there are some good YouTube videos, you can go through that. Now I cannot cover all those things, so I am just discussing the important commands. Okay, so now you have added all the changes. If you want to commit all those changes, okay, so this is the command git space commit space. You have to put some message, right? So what are all the changes you did? So for that -m, that means message. So this is the message or comments you can put. So whenever you see your code in the GitHub repository, so you can see these comments there with the file, the recent comments while adding the content or while modifying the content, whatever the comments you are giving here, you can see them in the Git repository. Okay, and finally, so if you want to push these changes from your desktop to GitHub, okay, so this is the command git push. Okay, so simply git push. So by default it pushes the changes to the branch we are currently in. Okay, so here we checked out to dev, right? So what this will do, if you simply click git, enter the command git push, it will push these changes to this git branch dev. Otherwise, if you want to push all these changes to particular branch, okay, so this is the command git push the branch name. Okay, so the changes will be pushed to the branch we are specifying here. Okay, and finally, if you want to merge these changes to the master branch, so in GitHub there will be many branches. I'll show you today practically. Okay, so what is master branch or main branch? So what is the other branches we are going to create? Okay, I'll show you with examples. Okay, so if you want to merge these changes to the master branch, so this is the command git merge the branch name. It can be master or main. So in git in some versioning repositories it is main, in some versioning repositories it is master. Okay, so this is the command to merge the changes. But in general, okay, in general we may not have access to merge the code to main or master branch directly. In real time we'll not have access to merge these changes to the master branch because multiple people will be working, right? So everyone cannot directly apply these changes to the main branch. So we have to create a pull request and get it approved by your lead or one who has the approval permissions. So once you deploy your code to your branch, it can be on your name or it can be something like dev. Okay, so now the code changes are done in your branch. So if you want to deploy those changes to the to master branch, so you have to create a pull request. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, and that request should be approved who has the permission to approve the request. Okay, then once they approve, these changes will be applied to the master branch. Okay, so these are the GitHub commands you should know before working with the GitHub or before deploying your Snowflake changes to Git repositories. Okay, now let's see what are the steps we need to follow to deploy or migrate the changes. Okay, so the first step is register your GitHub account and create your GitHub repository. This was just completed, right? The second step is create the secrets to add parameters and their values. Okay, we'll do this next. Okay, and okay, step 3 will be like clone your repository to your desktop. Okay, you can use either a git bash from your desktop or you can use the Visual Studio Code IDE. So I'll explain how to do by using this Visual Studio Code IDE. Okay, and then so if you want to deploy your code, first of all you have to create a file with the code, right? So I am creating a file like this. Okay, I'll explain the naming convention later. Okay, and I'll be putting all my Snowflake objects code here in this file. This will be my code. Okay, so once that is completed, once these changes are done, push your code to Git repository. I just explained, right, how to push the code after doing the changes. I will show that practically. Then we have to create a workflow with the schema change YML file in GitHub. So there is a concept called workflow. Okay, by using a schema change YML file, we can deploy the code. Okay, so for that we have to create a workflow by using this YML file. Then run your workflow and make sure this will be successful. Like once you run this workflow using the schema change file, just monitor it. So once that is successful, then go to your Snowflake and validate your changes. That means whenever this workflow is successfully completed, by default all these objects will be created in your Snowflake account. Okay, so first thing we have to do is we have to create a database. Okay, then the schema creation, table creation, view creation, it can be any DDL or DML statement you can deploy. Okay, so let's go to step 2 now. First step was completed, so let's go to step 2. So here we have to create secrets. That means, so if this workflow has to deploy all your code into Snowflake account, so internally it has to log into your Snowflake account, right? For that we have to supply the parameters required, like what is your Snowflake account name, what is your Snowflake username, so what is the Snowflake password you use with this username, and what is the role you want to use to run these commands, and what is the Snowflake warehouse you have to use to run these all these commands, okay, and which database you want to run all these commands. So all these parameters we have to supply the values. So how to set up these parameters and values in GitHub? So we can use a thing called secrets, okay, GitHub secrets. So how to create these secrets? That means how to parameterize all these all the required things. Let's see. Okay, go to your GitHub account. Okay, so go to settings. So then go to secrets and variables. Okay, so here click on actions. Now it will ask you to create a new repository secret. So just click on new repository secret. Okay, so here you have to enter the parameter and that value. Okay, so I have given some parameters already, right? So just enter those. Okay, so first thing is Snowflake account. So what is the Snowflake account? Okay, so how to get your Snowflake account name? So for me, this is for my trial account, this is my Snowflake account name. So I told you many times, okay, how to get this account name, and even this is very well explained in this link. I'll provide this link in the description of this video. Okay, how to get your Snowflake account name. Let me show you quickly. So go to your Snowflake account. Okay, so go to admin tab and there click on accounts. So it will show you one thing called locator. So your Snowflake account name is locator ID. Okay, so this one VS 87762. Okay, so this is my locator. So locator dot the Snowflake region name, then the Snowflake cloud name where you have hosted your Snowflake account. Okay, how to get these values? You can get from accounts itself. So if you just go here, so this is Central India Azure. So locator dot region dot cloud will be my Snowflake account name. So this may not be exactly same for all three clouds, Azure, AWS and GCP. So how to get your proper Snowflake account name? Okay, by using this link. Okay, I have given right this link. You by using this link you can get your Snowflake account name, exact account name. Okay, so I have given my Snowflake account name. Okay, so just add secret. Here it will show you the secret. Okay, SF account name. Like this, add other secrets as well. Okay, Snowflake username. So I have added all the secrets, and if you want to parameterize anything else also, you can add those parameters and corresponding values. And in future, if you want to modify anything, okay, so you can come to this secrets and variables. Okay, so you just click on here and you can put the value name here. Okay, and update the secret. So in future, these variables values may change, right, in future. In that case, if you want to update, so like this you can update. Okay, okay, so for now I have added all the secrets required for our demo. Okay, now step 3 is cloning your repository to your desktop. For this you need either VS Code or Git Bash from your desktop. So how to get this VS Code or Git Bash? Okay, so let's go to Google. If you want to install GitHub desktop, just go to Google and type like this, download GitHub desktop. Just click on the first option and you can download Git desktop from here. So from Git desktop, once you install this, you will get Git Bash option. From there you can operate, you can run all the Git commands. Okay, otherwise nowadays all companies are using, every company, most of the companies are using VS Code editor. So using VS Code editor, you can program any language. You can write programs in any language. Even they have given Snowflake extension as well for VS Code editor. You can directly log into Snowflake account from here, and you can execute all the commands. You can push files into stages. You can do everything from here. So like that, if we want to operate with Git also, we can use VS Code editor. So you have to install either of this. Okay, how to install? I already told about GitHub desktop. So just go to Google and say download GitHub desktop. If you want to install Visual Code, okay, try go with this one. This will be very good actually. Okay, just go to Google and say download Visual Studio Code. Okay, so you will get option, right? Just click on these options and install the software. Okay, so this is how you can install Visual Studio Code and GitHub desktop. Now let's clone our repository to desktop. So before that, I want to put some file in this repository. So some readme file. Okay. So it's nothing about you can specify so what this Git repository is about and what are the folder structure, and you can add any information in the readme file. Okay. It's like a sample file. Okay. This repository is to store Snowflake objects. Okay, commit changes, just commit the changes. So now you have one file here. Now, so I don't want to directly check in all my code to main branch or master branch of my Git repository. So first I want to check in the code to some other branch and then merge it into the main branch. Okay, so now I'm creating a dev branch based out of this main branch. Okay, so how to create a branch from this main? Just go here and type your branch name here, dev. It will show option like create branch dev from main. Just click on that. Okay, that's it. Your dev branch has been created. Now you can check in all your code into dev branch, and later you can check into the main branch. So in real time, why we do this? Okay, because in a project multiple team members will be working on multiple changes, right? So they cannot push all the changes directly to main branch. If there are any mistakes also, okay, before reviewing, if there are any mistakes also, it will cause defects, or it will cause some issues in the production, right? That's why first we have to check in all the changes to dev branch, test in the dev database. Then if once everything looks good, then you can merge all the changes to main branch and you can deploy those changes to production. Okay, so now this is my dev branch. Now I want to clone this dev branch, this Git repository, to my desktop. So how to do that? So if you just click on this code, it will show you the HTTPS link. This is same as this one. So here this URL is same as this one. Okay, so you just copy it and you can prepare a command. So before that, let's create a folder in the desktop. Okay, this is my desktop. Here I am creating a folder, something like Git Snowflake. Okay, so here I want to clone my repository, GitHub repository, to this folder. Okay, so how should I do that? Whenever you install this Git desktop software, you will get Git bash. So if you just right click here in this folder and under Git Snowflake, okay, just right click, show more options. So you will get open Git bash or Git GUI here. So I don't want to go with the GUI. So I want to go with the commands. That's why I'm opening Git bash. Okay. So here you can execute all those commands. Okay. The second option is, so you have Visual Studio Code, right? So here I want to open the folder just now I created, and there I want to clone my repository and operate from there. So how to do that? So just click on this open folder, or just go to file menu. Okay, open folder. Okay, so go to desktop, select this Git Snowflake and select folder. Okay, so this is our folder, so where we want to clone our repository. Okay, so as of now nothing is there in this folder. Now I want to open a terminal and run the git commands. So how to do that? Just go to terminal, click on new terminal. Now it will open a terminal here. So from here you can execute all your git bash commands to push the changes to repository. So now you have two options. One is git bash and VS Code, Visual Studio Code. You can work on anything. Okay, I always prefer Visual Studio Code. That's why I am working with this terminal now. Okay, now let's clone the repository. So what is the command for cloning the repository? So go to Git Commands. So this is the command to clone the repository: git space clone space the repository link. So repository link, how you can get? From here. Okay, just copy it and go to Visual Studio Code and run the command git clone the repository link. Okay, so as it is empty folder, it's completed within 1 second. Okay, so now you can see that repository here. Okay, now you can run all the git commands to do the changes and to check in the code, to push the code to repository. You can operate everything from here. Okay, now the fourth step is create the SQL file and name it as per standards. So here the naming standards are very important. So it should be something like this. It should start with capital V and it should be like 3 digits, 1.1.1. These are the version numbers. So if it is a major version, you can go for a V 1.2, or if it is a minor version change, then you can go for a V 1.1.2. Like that you can change the version numbers. So this is the important point. Whenever it is trying to read the changes from GitHub, it will always consider the highest version. So if there are two files with V 1.1.1 and 1.2, then it will read the code from 1.2 file. That means the latest version file. So this is very important. So we are configuring the schema change like that. Always it will consider the version with the highest number. Okay, so this is my first file. I want to create a file like this with this version number, and I want to name it like initialobjects.sql, and this double underscore is also very important. So these are the standards: v underscore, so this numbering, and double underscore, and you can put any description here that is related to the changes you are doing. Okay, so now let's create this file and put all this code. So whatever the code present here, just put the code into this file in the VS Code editor. Okay, so just copy this file name, go to here, and before that I want to create a folder here. Okay, so something like deploy. I want to put all my deploy code in this folder. So I have created a folder with the name deploy, and here I am creating this file. Okay, so with this name, and just click on this file, it will open the editor. Here you can copy paste those commands. Okay, Snowflake queries, and you can just save this file. For now I want to create the file in the VS Code editor and edit it, like adding the content or removing the content from here itself. Okay, so let's take the content, copy this content, okay, and paste it here. And if you look at the code, what I am doing, so I am creating a schema. Okay, I am creating a schema called HR data under the database employee. So before this you have to make sure this employee database exists in your Snowflake account. Okay, let's see that. So if you see here under the database list, EMP database is not there. So I am creating this database by using this command: create a database if not exist EMP. Okay, now our database is ready. Just refresh here. So our database is ready. Now look at the content. So what we are going to here. Okay, so under the employee database, I am creating a schema called HR data, and inside that HR data, I am going to create some tables. So employees table, departments table. Okay, and I am going to insert some records into both this employees table and departments table. So these are the changes I want to check in for now. Okay, so that's why I copied this content into this file. Okay, just click on save. Okay, so the file is saved now. So the changes are done. Now we have to check in these changes and push the changes to repository. So how to do that? Let's see. Okay, so currently we are under the folder Git Snowflake. So first you have to enter into your repository. So how to do that? Cd change directory. Okay, Jenna Git SF. Okay, so now we are into the repository directory. Okay, so here first let's check the branch. So in which branch you are currently in? Okay, Git branch. So currently we are under the main branch, but now I told, right, I want to check in all my changes to dev branch. So just change the branch. How to change the branch? Let's go to Git Commands again. So I will give these commands in the description. You can refer. Okay. So what is the command to change the branch? Okay. So to switch to other branch. Okay. This is the command git checkout dev. Okay. Git checkout dev. Okay, it is saying switch it to a new branch dev. So if you want, you can check. Okay, how to check? Git branch. So now it is in the dev branch. Okay, so now you can operate from here, from the dev branch. So we just did some changes, right? Now I want to commit these changes. So what is the next step in Git commands? So after checking the code, okay, so you can check the uncommitted changes from this by using this command git status. So git status. So here it is saying there are some untracked files. Okay, so we haven't committed them. Let me just push this window up a little bit. So it is saying some untracked files. So how to add those changes? So again, just go to here, git add. If you want to check in specific file, you can give the file name. If you want to commit all the changes, or if you want to add all the changes, git add just dot. Okay, git add dot. Now check git status. Okay, so you can see the changes committed. So this is the changes to be committed. So there is one change under the folder deploy. This file has been added. So how to commit? Again, you can get it from here. Git commit -m and the comments. Git commit -m. So comment like pushing or creating initial object, something like this, that is related to the changes we are doing. Okay, so now the changes were committed. Okay, so what is the next step? Just go to here. So we are done with adding files and committing the changes. Now we have to push these changes to our repository. So how to push these changes? Okay, what is the command? Git push. Okay, so now this file has been pushed to our Snowflake, our GitHub repository. Just check that. Okay, just go to your GitHub repository and here, so you can see here, dev had two recent pushes. If you want to merge these changes into the main branch, so you can just click on compare and pull request. Okay, so before that, if you want to see those changes, just refresh the repository. Okay, now you can see this deploy folder. Okay, and under the deploy folder, you can see all these object definitions, right? So we are done with the pushing of changes or checking the code into the GitHub repository. Now we have to run this code by using schema change and create all these objects in the employee database, right? So we have pushed our code to dev branch. Now we have to do the same changes in the main branch. So how to do that? For that we have to merge this dev branch into the main branch. So how to do that? First let's check. So this is our repository and currently I am in the dev branch. If you see, I can see the deploy folder and inside the deploy folder I can see this initial objects.sql file. but just go to main branch and check that folder and file are there or not. So in the main branch, you can see only the readme file. There is no deploy folder and the file inside that, because we haven't merged the dev branch into main branch yet. So how to do that? Okay, so for that, so we have to create a pull request to pull all the changes from dev branch and merge into the main branch. So go to pull request. Okay, so here create a new pull request. So here you have to compare the main branch with dev branch, right? So here you can see there is some change script in the dev branch which is not present in the main branch. So here just click on the create pull request. Okay, put some comments or just click on the create pull request. Okay, so now in real time what will happen if there are multiple users associated with Git repository, and if we set someone as reviewer and approver, because you cannot approve your changes, right? Some of your lead or who has the approval permission for this change, they will review the changes and they will merge it into the main branch. As of now, I am the only user in this for this repository, right? So I have the access to merge this pull request into main branch. Okay, confirm merging. So this is completed. Now go to this code page again, and now you can check in the main branch. You can see the deploy folder and you can see the initial objects.sql file. Now we are done with step 5. So do the changes and push code to the Git repository, that is the main branch. Okay, so we are done with step 5. So what is the step 6? So now we have to create a schema change file, that is a .yml file, and we have to create a workflow. If we run that workflow, all our changes, whatever the SQL script we have entered in the Git repository, so those changes will be applied in your Snowflake account. Okay, so let's see how we can create a workflow. Okay, so go to actions page. Okay, so go to actions. See here you have option like set a workflow yourself. Okay, so don't confused with all these options. Just click on setup workflow for now. Okay, so here it is asking to enter that code. So schema change code. I told you, right? So to deploy the changes, Snowflake changes into your uh, Snowflake account, so we need a program, YML program, schema change program. Okay, so let's take that program and copy here and save that as YML file. Okay, so this will be our workflow later to deploy our changes to Snowflake. Okay, so I don't want to explain this script. Okay, this is a YML file, but here few things are very important. So this will be your workflow name. So this will be displayed if you want to run this workflow or monitor, or if you want to delete this workflow later. So this will be your workflow name. This is the program actually. So I named it as Snowflake migration demo .yml, and this is the workflow name. Okay, and here there are few things, those are important. So from which branch you want to take the code? So I want to read the code from main branch, and which path in the main branch. So whatever the script present in the deploy folder, so take the code from that folder, and it has to log into Snowflake account to apply all these changes, right? For that I already explained, we have kept secrets, the parameters. So I am using those parameters here inside. In the environment, I am putting all these variables. Okay, so log into this account with this username and with this password, and with help of this role, okay, deploy the changes, and use this sf underscore warehouse as the compute warehouse to deploy these changes. Okay, so don't bother about these programs. These are same across different YML files. This will be same. Only the things you have to change or you have to modify is these parameters. Suppose if you are naming your parameters as something different, like simply sf underscore acc, in that case you have to put simply sf underscore acc here. Okay, or if you want to deploy changes from different branches or different folders, so you have to modify these things, and this should be your workflow name. Okay, so this is my code, just I am copying it, okay, and pasting it in the workflow. Okay, and also I want to put my YML file same as workflow name. Okay, okay, so done. Now I'm just committing these changes. So commit these changes. Now your YML file is ready and your workflow is ready. Okay, and this YML file by default will be saved under the workflows folder of your repository. So if you want to check, you can check from here. Just go to the code page. So along with the deploy, so you can see one more folder like .github workflows. So if you want to modify this later, so in case of any errors, or if you want to do any changes, or if you want to add any more parameters, okay, so you can go here in your repository in the GitHub workflows. Okay, so come here and edit this file and then commit changes. If you are doing any changes, just after completing the changes, commit the changes. Okay, so this is how you can modify the YML file later if you want. Okay, now our workflow is ready. Now I want to run this workflow. So how to do that? Go to actions page again. Okay, so here it is showing the list of workflows, and just click on this workflow name, and here you can see, so there are no runs as of now. This is saying this workflow has not run yet. Okay, so I want to run this workflow. Okay, just click on run workflow. Okay, so this takes some time. What this workflow will do, it will run the code specified in that YML page, and it will deploy the changes to the Snowflake account specified in that YML file. Okay, so within few seconds the workflow has completed. Now, so if you want to verify these changes are deployed in your Snowflake account or not, so that will be our last step. See, so step 7 is run the workflow and make sure this will be successful. So if there are any errors, it will display the log. If you just click on this workflow, it will display the log if there are any errors. For now, our workflow is successfully completed. So let's go to the last step. So what is the last step? Go to Snowflake and validate your changes. So let's go to our Snowflake account. Okay. So this is my Snowflake account. So I have created my employee database here, right? So yeah, now see here. So our changes got deployed. This is the schema we have created, right? HR data. So if you check the file, what are the changes we have deployed? So what this did, create a schema HR data. So the same you can see here. And under HR data, I have created two tables. Okay, employees and departments. So you can see both the tables. And if you want to check the data, okay, so there are 10 rows I have inserted. See here, into the employees table I have inserted 10 rows. Into the departments also I have 10 rows. In employees also I have inserted some 10 rows. Okay, so all our changes got deployed. See, I did not do any changes manually inside the Snowflake. I am completely operating from GitHub. So because we have integrated our GitHub with Snowflake by using the schema change, okay, that YML file, and we are able to deploy all the changes. So this is how you can deploy your any changes from GitHub to Snowflake directly using schema change. Here there is no need of additional third-party tools. Okay, directly you can deploy or migrate the changes from GitHub to Snowflake. Now you may get a question. So we have checked in our code only to one database. Suppose consider this is a dev database. In future, once my development is completed, if I want to migrate these changes to stage test environment or stage environment or prod environment, how to do that? Okay, that is also simple. So you have to create different workflows. Okay, so hope you can understand. Come to this Git. So we have created this one workflow, right? So inside this workflow, I'm using the YML file, and inside that YML file, I am configuring it's a dev database, right? So if you see here, this is my workflow and this is the YML file. So here I have given all these parameters. So these are pointing to the dev database. Suppose if you want to migrate the same changes once your development is completed and you pushed all your code to main branch in the Git repository. Now if you want to migrate these changes to other environment, it can be test or production, what to do? So you have to create another workflow which is pointing to test environment or production environment, and just run that workflow. The changes will be deployed to the corresponding environment. It can be test or stage or production, whatever it is. It's simple. Create another workflow uh, and point these parameters to that test Snowflake account or production Snowflake account. Or so in the same account, if you have all the three databases, dev, test and production, just change your username and password and role and warehouse, okay, and the database as well. Account name will be same across the environments, but these parameters will change, like username, role. So you can add more secrets. So I told you, right, how to add secrets. So like that with the environment name, like dev underscore sf account, dev underscore sf username, like that production underscore sf account, production underscore sf username. Like that you can add any number of secrets, and you can use those secrets based on the environment you want to check in, you want to deploy your changes. Okay, so hope you are understanding. This is very simple. Okay. Okay, now so we are done with one version, like so I told you, right? So where are my go to code page? Okay, so in the deploy I have these changes. Now in future I want to add more tables to my database, or if I want to do some alteration to the existing objects. Okay, suppose let's take another file. Okay, so now this file is like create and alter tables. Okay, here what I am doing, I want to create two more tables, countries and regions. Okay, and I want to alter the existing table. So this employees table we have already created in our database. Now I want to add one more column called employee status of varchar type to this existing table. So now how to do this? By using the same workflow. Okay, so it's simple. Just create this file. Okay, create this file in your GitHub repository, and push these changes to GitHub repository, and re-execute that workflow. So these changes will be deployed to your Snowflake account. Okay, so here total I have two tables. I am creating two new tables and altering one table, like adding a column to the existing table, and I am updating this employees table. And so I'm creating a new column, right? For that I have to supply some value. So I am giving this value to all rows in the table. Update employees table, set employee status equals to active. So employee can be active or inactive, right? So for now I am updating the status of all employees to active. So I want to run this update script as well, and I also want to create one view. So create view v underscore employees as select star from HR data dot employees. So I want to deploy all these changes to our Snowflake account. So let's see how we can do that. Okay, so we have to go through all the process again. So go to VS Code. Okay, so here create a new file. Okay, so put the file name like this. Okay, so I want to create some new tables, and I want to alter some existing tables. So I'm just specifying the file name like this. Okay, okay, now let's put all these changes here. Control A, Control C, Control V. Okay, Control yes, save this file. Now I'll do all the changes very quickly, because I showed you, right, in the first exercise. Okay, so I am going to execute the same commands here. So what is the first command? I want to add these changes. Git add. Okay, sorry, git, I have given git add dot. Okay, git commit minus m alter and create new tables. Okay, so committed git push. Okay, pushing is completed. So go to your git repository. Okay, so go to the dev branch. So here inside the deploy, you can see the second one. I have given the name as 1.1.2 because this is the latest version and the file that workflow will read the changes from here. Okay, so we have pushed our code, and so the code pushing is not yet completed because we have to merge these changes. So how to merge these changes? Okay, so go to pull request. Okay, new pull request. So compare the main with the dev, and if there are any changes in the dev, so we have added this v 1.1.2 create alter tables. Okay, create a pull request, create the pull request, and merge the pull request. Confirm merge. So we have merged all our dev branch changes to main branch. So just to make sure, compare that. Okay, go to code, select the main branch, deploy. Here you can see the second script. Now we are done. So now go to actions. Okay, because we have to run this workflow again, right? So no need to run this workflow again and again. So whenever you commit the new changes to main branch, it will automatically deploy all those changes to your Snowflake account. So it has completed the pull request, and also it has executed this workflow. Okay. So now if you want to make sure these changes are deployed to the corresponding Snowflake account or not, just go to your this one. Okay, so here just refresh. As of now there are only two tables, right? So just and if you see in the employees, we don't have the new column employee. Oh, it refreshed already. Okay, refresh it. Okay, so now the it got refreshed already, so by default. So you can see this employee status as active, and you can see the new tables here, and even you can see the views. Okay, so v underscore employees, so we have created, you can see it was created 1 minute ago using that YML file. Okay, using that schema change file. Okay, so no need to run this workflow again and again. So whenever you commit the changes to the main branch, this workflow will run automatically because there is a new code change in the main branch, and it will run, and it will deploy the changes to the account we have set up in that YML file. So this is how you can do. Okay, so not only simple DDL or DML files like creating the tables, inserting data, creating views, updating the data. So not only that, there are so many objects in Snowflake, right? Like suppose I want to create one integration object. So suppose I want to create one file format. I want to create one stage. Okay, and I want to put some data into the tables, and I want to create streams. I want to create masking policies. I want to create secure views. So you can push all these changes by using schema change. You can first of all, you have to push all these code changes to your repository, and whenever you commit the changes to main branch, the workflow will run, and it will commit all the changes. It will deploy all these changes, or it will create all these objects in the Snowflake account. So let's do that quickly. Okay, so before that, so it is saying use database MyDB. Just check MyDB is present in your Snowflake account or not. Okay, so it's not there. So create an account quickly. Okay, so MyDB, control A, control enter. So the database has been created. Just refresh it here. So as of now, so in the MyDB, there is no other schema, or there is no other objects, only the default two schemas, public and information schema, available. Now I want to create all these Snowflake objects, like integration object, file format object, one stage, one stream, okay, and one secure view, one masking policy. I want to create all these objects. So how to do that? Let's do this quickly. Okay, just take this file name. Okay, and go to VS Code. Okay, so here create a new file. .sql and put all this code into this file. Control yes. Now we have to run our git commands. First we have to add the changes. Okay, now we have to commit all the changes, all Snowflake objects. Okay, and push them. So this file is pushed to dev branch. Let's go to our repository, go to code page. So we are in the main branch, right? So here if you see we are in the main branch, that's why I'm not able to see this. Okay, go to dev branch because we are pushing all our changes to dev branch, right? So now this is present in the dev branch. So now we have to merge this dev branch code into main branch. So how to do that? Go to pull request, new pull request. Okay, compare main with the dev, get the changes and create pull request, so I am the approver, that's why I'm merging it. Confirm merge, completed. Now go to your code and check in the main branch, you can see the changes. Okay, so you can see now as we have merged all the code to main branch, the workflow will run automatically and it will deploy all the changes. So let's go to actions page. Here you can monitor your workflow runs. Okay, so it takes some time, just wait for it. So within few seconds it's completed. Now go to your Snowflake account. Okay, and just refresh the folder structure here. Okay, now you can see and verify all the changes. First go to here. So what I did, so I am using this database and I have created this integration. So how can you view that? So if you just execute show storage integration, it will show this integration objects. So next one, in the MyDB database, in the public I have created one file format. In the public schema I have created one stage, and in the public schema I have created one table, and in the public schema I have created one stream, and I have created some masking policy. So everything I did in the public schema. So let's go to public schema. Okay, in the MyDB database, just go to MyDB database, public. So here you can see, so I have created one table, right? So this is the table. Okay, and I have created one secure view. So this is the secure view, and I have created one file format object. So this is the file format object. So this is the stage object, and streams. This is the stream, right? So all our objects got deployed. So storage integration you cannot see directly here, and masking policies as well. If you want to see them, just go to here and query them. Show storage integration, show masking policy. So I have explained all those commands already. Okay, so hope you are understanding whatever I did. So in the last two times I did the changes very quickly without explaining. Okay, because first time I have explained clearly everything. So without running any code here in the Snowflake account, I am completely operating from my desktop and from the GitHub. So I am doing all or applying all the changes from my desktop. I am pushing these changes to Git repository here. Okay, in the code section you can see all those changes, and whenever you commit those changes to main branch of your Git repository, they are getting deployed into the actual Snowflake account specified in this YAML file. Okay, so I hope you understood. So in future if you want to migrate these changes to other databases, okay, so you can create another YML file or another workflow with a new YML file and just configure these parameters like the branch, the path and the parameters. Okay, so add new parameters with the new YML file and try to migrate your changes. Okay, so this is how we can integrate our GitHub repository with our Snowflake account, deploy all the changes or migrate the changes. I hope you understood. So first time may be confusing. So watch the video first time completely, then revisit the video in the so while watching the video for the second time, you will understand properly each and every step. Okay. So thank you so much guys for watching all my videos. Please subscribe to my channel if not yet subscribed. Thank you. Bye.